depths of my soul, feeling the loss of control and in the spirit, so colorful. If you feel it, then let's go home to a place where you belong. Give it strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, keep on rising, rise, rise.
Good evening, everybody in YouTube world, and if you're listening later on in podcast world, welcome to the Toon Review, where tonight is a kind of open show. We're going to talk about some of the latest issues going on at Newcastle United. Alex has got some transfer news with a couple of players that have been reported. So it's an all-round lovely show tonight, just a general show. Looking forward to the Cellar Cup at the weekend and getting ready for, Billy will be commentating on it. I believe it's online, isn't it? I'm sure it is. So. Yeah. Or else Billy will be in a crane above St. James's Park watching the game. Yes. Next to all the statues. But first of all, I'm just going to say hello to people in the chat, of course. Paul Tully, good evening to you. Julie J. Carlos, good evening. Tom Lynch, modding away as usual. Ian Fleming, good evening to you. Michael says, hi, Paul. I've just bought the new away kit and the fit is perfect for 3XL. God, I think it was that when I was born. Tony Mallon, good evening, all. Give me a shout out, Paul. Well, there you go. You've had one. Tucky, good evening, matey. Hope you're well, mate, and enjoy the show. Geordie lad, good evening. Rachel's backstage modding as well. Tide, good evening. Everyone's saying hello. Lewis's best intro song going. That puts you in a great mood for a great show. Thank you very much. Kenneth, good evening to you. Geordie Boy says good evening to everyone in the land of rain and beyond. I don't think we're going to see the sun again. I just think it's the end. But, Lee Robinson says, will our fringe players be offloaded on loan to Saudi? Oh, good question. I don't think so. Shira69, good evening. Clone Lad says, I'm 5 minutes late. No, we are 5 minutes late. No, we were 3 minutes late, actually, Clone Lad, but never mind. Our mod's adding the extra time at the end of the show under the new Premier League laws. Yeah, maybe we should start doing that. Chippers, it's his birthday eve. He celebrates being 55 tomorrow. So happy birthday for tomorrow, Chippers.
Yeah, we're not celebrating it now. It's not your birthday now.
No, exactly. There's no such thing as a birthday eve, for God's sake, Chippers, man. It's not like Christmas Eve. Jesus Christ. Your birthday becomes less relevant the older you get, until you start hitting the big names. You what, mate?
I said he's not Jesus. You said Jesus Christ. I was like, yeah, well, he's not Jesus.
He's not. He's definitely not Jesus. Absolutely.
Same amount of women.
You what, Bill?
Same amount of women.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Keith, whoa, hang on a minute. See, these don't show up on StreamYard. Keith Dites, member for 17 months now. Thank you very much, Keith. This is shaping up to be a thrilling season. Wish we could get a few more players through the door, but the team is better now than what we ended with. Absolutely. Toon Dave, thank you for being a member for 18 months. Incredible. Wow, member for 18 months. How time has flown onwards and upwards to everyone. Thank you very much. Mrs. Toon Review in the house. James Pope says, evening all TTR folk out there in Toonland. Right, we're going to start on a very interesting subject tonight, guys, and that is, well, I think you two know what's coming here. It's basically the membership and the ballot. Now, I did a show earlier on today with obviously the Daily News saying that Newcastle had kind of done a U-turn and changed the policy, because it was originally, you got put somewhere in the ground, and for going somewhere in the ground, you had to pay that money, whether it be £44 up to 74, which I thought was ridiculous, by the way, really harsh. And of course, there was a lot of supporter uproar about it, and rightly so, in my opinion. Some people, the way they've acted is beyond a frigging joke. Actually, some of the tweets I read were absolutely shocking. Yes, feedback to the club is what they want. They want fan feedback, etc. But what they don't want is absolute monumental bellends coming on social media, calling them scum, etc., which I think is absolutely disgraceful, by the way. And those people end up looking fools, because obviously they've changed it a little bit. Now, what the feedback I had on my earlier video today was that some people aren't yet convinced it was a U-turn, because if there wasn't fan uproar about it, it would have gone on, and those fans would have had to pay the big money for the tickets.
I mean, they issued a statement literally stating it's because of
fan feedback. That's what Darren East came out. Yeah.
It was a club statement literally stating it was because of that reason. Yeah.
To be fair, Darren Eales didn't have to come out and say anything. They could have just put a statement out saying,
Yeah, I think it's brilliant that they've done that.
Yeah. And obviously he's come out and said it, and, he's took it on the chin. And I think they did make a wrong move yesterday. There was no doubt about it in my mind. It was a wrong move. But those fans, and I think, we have to give a shout out to the trust here as well, because, they put out a statement as well saying they were getting in touch with the club regarding it as well, with some feedback from the fans, proper feedback, and they've took it on board. And obviously it's changed now. I still think £44 for a ticket is a little excessive, if you ask me, but at least they've done something about it. My only worry, guys, is that when you go on the balloting system and you get a choice of what ticket to get and in the price range. Now, I can't see anybody putting 74 quid for a ticket. You know what I mean? They're going to be
more likely to get it, won't you, if you put the higher range? That's
absolutely. But a lot of people will just put what they can afford. I mean, barely afford as well as 44 quid, by the way. So they might have a situation where everybody is putting in for the lower price ticket. What do you do then if they don't have enough options?
But there's only so much they can do. It's somebody's got to miss out. It's the stadium's not big enough for the demand, regardless of. They can listen to all the feedback they want. They're never going to make everybody happy. I think the option is to just try their best. And regardless of whether they've done the appropriate thing or not, I'm just so happy that they've listened to feedback and acted quickly. Even if they get it wrong again, I'm just so thrilled that they actually got some fan engagement. They're willing to listen. They want to try and make it work for everyone. They don't want us to be unhappy as a fan base. I think that in itself is worth so much more than whatever they change it to, because it's what we need. Is if we know going forward, if there's an issue, the owners will listen. The supporters trust will issue the statement very quickly. Of course, we know people on that with like Pete Davey from Loaded and stuff, and it's great that they got together so quickly and the club have responded. It's really nice. And is the alternative? It's a better alternative than what it was yesterday. Is it perfect? No, but I'm quite happy with how quickly they've responded. To be fair, I think that's really good.
I mean, some people are putting there that they're a little disappointed that they didn't see this coming, and maybe it was a little bit excessive what they were doing. I mean, to be honest, like Alex says, Billy, you win some, you lose some in these situations. They can't do everything right. But if this was the previous regime, they wouldn't have given a shit. They would have just done it and probably charged more than £44 a ticket. But we have to look and say what they've took this one on the chin and they've done something about it. But I just worry about this ballot system. I do, because I think.
How many members did we end up getting?
Well, I mean, at one stage there was 400,000 people in the queue.
The queue got up to that, but I don't think we got that many members. Because Yano's furious with me, and I understand what he means. But about a member should be guaranteed a ticket. Well, you're not a season ticket holder, and the fact that they've uncapped memberships means that that's not going to be possible. It's the direction they took, and if we were going to get that amended, we needed to protest that, and we don't. It's
Well,
just
I'm just actually uploading a photo that I took that was on social media.
Was that one was like 300 or 400K? Was it?
No, this is something to do with the ticketing, but I mean, Newcastle United haven't actually come out and said how many tickets they sold, Billy. So,
I mean, Ollie's just put in the chat
memberships?
85K members.
But having said that, you can still buy one
now.
now, can't you? You can still buy one now if you want one. They're on sale all the way through the season, so there's never going to be a particular figure of how many members there are. What I think personally is once you've been successful in a ballot, the next ballot you go into, you're not going to get a ticket. You know, you should be kind of alternate due to demands to be that high. I don't think once you've had one winning ballot that you should win the next one.
I mean,
depending on the problem is with it being a ballot. But the issue is with statistics. The problem is with somebody in the ballot. If there's 85K members and it's only going to be 20, 30K, you're going to get tickets out of that ballot. You're going to get certain situations where, you know, the outliers in that statistical range, you're going to get a few really unlucky people that apply 15 times and get 0 tickets. You're going to get, it's going to happen. And it's going to be really disappointing for those people. And and conversely, you're going to get someone who gets a ticket every time they apply because that just happens with data. People get really lucky.
Of course, people aren't going to apply every game, are they? You know, this is another thing you've got to.
No, the won't. Yeah. Jason says, I've got even less chance of tickets now that you can only pick one section. There's got to be a better way. Rabia says it's worse now to me because I can only choose one area, so less chance of getting in the ground. Clean Mag says, hi, must disagree with you earlier today, Paul. The ballot is far fairer. My work doesn't allow me to log on at 10 a.m. Hopefully, at least this way, I'm in with a chance, albeit a very low chance. See, so there is a mixture of opinions on it. And sure. You know, there's never going to be, you know, I just gave my opinion during that Daily News show and, you know, people can disagree and agree with it. It's just my opinion. And like we said, there is a vast mixture of opinions on how this will work. And going through the course of the season, there may well be people that put in for the ballot and never get a ticket, which, like you're saying, Billy, is a way of maybe if you get a ticket for the first game, you're not in the ballot for the second one. But that's going to cause more uproar as well, isn't it? Because not everyone's going to agree with that. It's Yano says if the membership is not a money-making exercise, part of the membership fee could be paid towards the ticket. Barbara, she's got the £74 ticket. Well, you'll probably get one in that case. Owners are still learning, says JB. At least when they make a mistake, they put it right. Absolutely. Keith says, I wish we got those prices for NFL games. I pay $200 per seat for my Eagles season tickets. Wow, Jesus. Chris says, if you go to pro boxing, you can't get a ticket for £74 and £44 is very cheap. It's a completely different sport.
It's comparing it to other Premier League teams as well. I remember very recently, only a few years ago, that Liverpool fans were complaining about £70, £80 tickets. Mm-hmm. And they've won everything in recent seasons. They've won the Champions League, the Premier League, and they had fans complaining about £80 tickets. We've not won Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Like, should we be jumped up to their level of ticketing right now? No, not yet. Like, it needs to be. We need to bridge that gap a little bit. Like in 10 years' time, if we are a lucrative team winning everything, there's so much demand, fine, ticket prices have got to go up. It's just the nature of the beast. But, you know, it's only one season of moderate success. You know.
But it is positive. It is positive news because the owners said all along they would listen to the fans and they clearly have done.
Absolutely.
They're in a tough position. They've got too much demand for the supply they can give. And this, to me, is the only fair way of doing it.
Well, I think that's what a lot of supporters need to realise as well, is there's only a certain amount of seats inside St James's Park. Exactly. They can't do everything until that ground is bigger. Whether it will be bigger in the future or not, we will have to see. David says, I watched the latest video, just wondering where you got 300,000 members from. I meant that there was 300,000 at one stage in the queue. So, you know, I don't know how many members there've actually been because you know, somebody said 85,000 maybe, but you just don't know because people can go online, like Billy said, they can go now and get them. So there's no official number. What I meant was that there was over 400,000 actually at one stage in the queue. So there was plenty there. Bill says all the spare seats should be the same price. Well, yeah, but then you've got but you've got the argument then, Billy, of like you put somebody in a seat where somebody else has paid 74 quid or higher to sit in them seats, and then somebody comes along and says, well, I only paid 44 quid for the same ticket in the same area. That causes a problem straight away again.
Yeah, it's not going to be that, though, is it? The £74 seats aren't going to be, they're going to be in exclusive areas of the ground, let's say. They're not going to be in level 7, for God's sake, you know what I mean? Or they're not going to be next to Jason Tyndall on the bench.
Yeah.
So, it's the £74 seats are going to be in places where people don't generally take up. And the £44 ones are going to be in the cheap areas, level 7, I would imagine.
Yeah, level 7, definitely. Julie J says members were initially informed that seats would be allocated randomly in any available area of the stadium if they were successful in the ballot, with payment taken automatically. I mean, Zishan, thank you very much for your 1999 super chat. He says, agreed, the owners kind of messed up with the ticket situation, but they have listened to feedback and acted. Some of the tweets yesterday, they deserve Mike Ashley, not these owners. I still think the £74 price will come down. I don't think it will, Zishan, because of where it is in the stadium, like we've just said there about sitting in certain parts of the stadium. That's the problem that these owners face. When they're trying to work something good out and trying to do it in Darren Eales mentioned it, that they want to do it in a fair way, and they're looking at different options to do it in a fair way. He admitted that, they were wrong yesterday. They're very, very good of him to come out and put a statement out saying that we have understood the feedback. I think, it was a little bit sort of full on when they came out yesterday and said, we'll take payment automatically, whether it be 44 or 74. So you didn't know how much was going to come out of your bank account till Newcastle confirmed where you were sitting. That was rough. And I think that's what Darren Eales has come out straight away and tried to put to bed, is that, they were wrong and they've done something about it. Now, not everybody's going to be happy, though, and you can never, ever get a situation where everybody is happy with what the club do. I saw a lot of ridiculous social media posts yesterday about, the greed from the Saudis is coming through. It's just to rip the fans off again, the true colours and all of this garbage. It's really pathetic. It really is. I can understand fans being a little bit annoyed and angry. That's fair enough. But there's ways and means about, feeding back to the club, which, like Billy said earlier on in the show, Darren Eales came in and immediately said it was all about the fans. He will listen to everything that the fans want or have issues with, etc. But he can't put everything into practice overnight. It's impossible for him to do that. So Alex is right. It's brilliant that he's come out and made the statement himself. It's not just a club statement. It's a statement from him saying that this is the way we're going to do it and we're going to try this. So, I just think some people on social media shouldn't actually call themselves supporters, because it is absolutely ridiculous.
Can I risk upsetting someone as well? Well, a few people.
Well,
I'm seeing a lot of international fans chat in the chat. With all due respect, I understand that there are some sports teams abroad that charge considerably more to go and watch their sports teams, and that 70 odd pounds is cheap for you. That's not relevant. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the opinion. You're entitled to it, but it's to do with football, how it's been charged historically in the UK, in the stadiums, the fans, ticket prices. It's to do with the economics of the region, specifically the average salaries, who's been going there, the demographic. It's nothing to do with, well, tickets cost $300 in the US. Sorry, American fans. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's a point, but it's kind of irrelevant. Like it's just not relevant at all.
I 100% agree.
We're not going to fit. I'm not in a position where I've been in seeing the club a lot in the last couple of seasons compared to what I've done my entire life, and I'm very privileged for that. I've been up with Paul a few times. So I can't say that, but there are people who graft and struggle to try and get a season ticket for the season, or for their children, or for whatever, or just a few tickets per season. And I'm not going to agree with you saying, it could be 3 times more expensive. You're entitled. You get it so cheap. That would be ridiculous of me to attack people for. You can't do that. It's completely different. It's a completely different situation.
It is. Absolutely, 100%. Tide, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, I'm a London fan. Can't really make any home games. Would buying a membership help me attend away games in London? on Brentford's home side last time? No, because the loyalty points are still in place this season. It is so difficult to get an away ticket. Literally impossible. If you don't have loyalty points, you're going to struggle to go to any away game this year. That is probably something that they will look at in the future. But then again, these fans travelled home and away when we were shit. Let's not forget that. Wherever we went, even when we were crap, right? Those fans went in their thousands to away games, including myself. When we were bollocks and the football was awful, we still went, right? And so to a degree, they've earned them loyalty points and they've earned the right to have first bite at going to away games. So, again, it's one of these questions that where do you take that? Where do you, it's so difficult, and it's so difficult for the owners to try and work something out. James has got a point here. Member for 6 months. Thank you, James. Please talk about Castore. They provided no merchandise in the US during the trip, and they have constantly breached their contract. When can we dump them? Well, that's actually not the first time I've heard about that, and no merch on sale in the US, which I find astounding.
They could have had a rep following the club around telling stuff.
I find it astounding. But I think if you read into, there was another, I read some other news. I think it was actually from Silverstone this time. He came out and said that he's got superb links with Adidas, etc. He understands the fans' point on Castore. I have a feeling Castore will be out of here at the end of the season, and Adidas will be in.
There's a lot of rumours from pretty much every In the Know channel. I know we're not in the know, but
absolutely not.
All the In the Knows seem to be all united in this point that they think it's a well-known secret behind closed doors that it's going to be Adidas next year. 100% it's done. This is all In the Know talk.
But if you read that statement, it's Peter Silverstone, isn't it? Isn't it the full name? If you read that interview from him, he is massively swaying to Adidas, right? He's massively swaying, and he also said he understands the history that Adidas have had with Newcastle United in the past, and he's set up a lot of deals with Adidas. So is he kind of, Billy? Is he kind of saying, giving us a little bit of a hint, nudge, nudge? Don't worry too much about Castore because they're going to be out of here at a certain point.
Oh, I would hope so. They have dropped the ball if they hadn't had people following around the club and using the club as ways of getting rid of shirts in America. I'm amazed. However, I'm not amazed because we all know that they're a tin pot company with no real supply. They've got the errands in what they do supply wise. They can't cope with the demand. All the shirts now, I'm told, apart from small, are unavailable. There's none left. It's pathetic. And we've got a massive history with, as you said, with Adidas, 14, 15 years of Adidas kits, all great, in my opinion. Get them back on track, yeah. And I think we're renowned for having Adidas as a kit maker at Newcastle. I think people think of Newcastle United when they think of Adidas kit. So, absolutely.
The boots as well. It's just, Shearer's boots and stuff. It's just what you think of, isn't it?
Shearer went Umbro in the end on his boots.
Did he not have some Adidas?
I
think he was Umbro.
Yeah.
I thought he had some old school Predators, didn't he? Was that not a thing? Like
everybody
really traditional
Predators.
black leather ones?
Everybody
old school Predators.
Yes, let's not go there. Moving on. Now, this is the photo I wanted to show you because this is now alongside all the turnstiles at St James's Park, and it worries me a little bit here. All right, I'll read down. Make sure you have already downloaded your ticket, which is common sense. Just download it when it arrives. Have your phone or smartwatch ready as you approach the turnstile. Remember to tap and hold your phone, smartwatch on the scanner. Scan accompanying children into the stadium first. But then I have a little bit of a issue here because if access is denied, please visit the main box office. Now, the main box office, okay?
Your children are in there and yours.
Yes, that's my point. Exactly what I was going to say, Alex.
That's ridiculous.
I know, look, there'll be stewards inside the ground that can let them out the side door, right? But that will scare the shit out of if you've got a young 3-4-year-old going in first and then you scan and it doesn't work and you're told to go to the box office, that kid's going to shit himself, right? Or herself. Now, the issue I have is if, these are every single turnstile in the ground. You think how many turnstiles is in St James's Park, right? Now, if, for example, one turnstile starts to fail and doesn't scan, that box office is bloody tiny, right? And the hell on earth that people are going to have to try and go then to the box office, but it doesn't say what the box office will do. Do they then give you a paper ticket so you can scan it with a barcode on? But what happens if you go back and it does the same again? And then at the bottom it says, if your battery dies, visit the local heroes here to help hub next to the box office. I mean, knowing how big the box office is, if any turnstile fails to scan, you could end up having hundreds of people queuing for the box office, especially when people go into the ground. They like to have a drink now. So they could be going into the ground. Let's say it's a 3 o'clock kickoff for, hypothetical reasons. They could go in at 10 to 3, not be able to scan, and there's going to be a huge queue at the box office when the game's already kicked off. I mean, I don't know why
the
there's
digital
not a steward there.
Weird.
Yeah, but why not just have a steward there? If the scan fails, then surely a steward can look at it and say, right, yes, or have a handheld scanner or something to do it, and then let them into the ground. Otherwise, you're going to have hundreds of people outside the box office.
Yeah,
it makes sense to have people on the gate in case. I think they may do that in the end. There's going to be teething troubles, It's the first one we've gone all digital, isn't it? So we're definitely going to have teething troubles. It's Saturday's paper, was it, or digital? Saturday and Sunday's games.
It's digital, yeah. This is the thing, though, is it's not all digital. It's only wallets. So I have never used a Google Wallet or an Apple Wallet in my life. I don't have it installed on my phone, any devices. I've never used it. I was assuming we were going to get an email or a PDF with a QR code on it, something digital that we could then have on our phone that would get scanned. And it's not that. I'm going to have to install a Google Wallet, which I don't really want to do. I've always avoided that. I've wanted to have physical, debit cards and things like that. I don't want to have an electronic. I don't want my money like that. It's just a personal thing. And now I've got to go and figure out how to download the Google Wallet and set that all up and make sure it's all ready.
It's very easy, Alex. I'll honestly, Google Wallet.
I know it's probably not that difficult, but you've got to think that I'm a fairly young guy who's okay
you're not the
with
first
technology.
To say that, Alex. I totally understand. Yeah,
but I'm a 30-year-old guy who's got a reasonable amount of technology and is not stupid with tech. Imagine how many other people who are going to find it way more difficult than me trying to download the Google Wallet or Apple Wallet and figure out how that works. I feel like it just should have been an email. Just have an email.
I mean, look, I'm taking Phoebe on, on at the weekend, because I couldn't get her a ticket for the season.
If you're gonna ID check people anyway, just send it in an email. Because if you don't trust people and you're gonna ID them, have an email.
Well, the thing is, I'm taking Phoebe, and Phoebe's got to go in first, right? She's got terrible anxiety issues if she's not with me or away from me. My worry is, I know it could only be 30 seconds to a minute before the steward brings, the child back out the big gates. But in situations like that, she will have a hell of a panic. I know she will. If she goes through and then mine doesn't go through, and I then have to come out of the queue to go and wait for her to be opened, she will panic, right? And I don't want her in that situation. I just hope that this goes without hitch, because the club have come in for a lot of criticism this week with the way the memberships have been sorted out, and I just want it to go well. I really do. Apparently, there's new drinks machines there as well. Self-serve drink machines and stuff like that. So we just have to hope that whatever scanners they've got in these in the turnstiles now work perfectly. I mean, yes, there will be the odd one that won't scan through, but I'm just hoping it's not hundreds, because knowing how small that box office is, if we come to a situation where it's like that, it's going to be hell. And that's not what the club needs at the moment, Billy. We need it to go well.
Yeah, we definitely do. And this is why these two games over the weekend are important. If there's going to be any teething problems, these are the guinea pig games, aren't they?
Yeah.
And if things do go wrong Saturday or Sunday, they can put them right for when the season starts. Hopefully. It's a big hopefully, though. You just don't know, do you? You just don't know.
I mean, Well, yeah, but
I mean, some people don't even carry mobile phones. How are they going to get into the ground?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we can sit here as a sort of younger generation, and I even include you in that, Billy.
Thank you.
You know, you're welcome. We can sit here as a younger generation and think, right, yeah, surely everybody's got mobile phones. But you're right. Not everybody will. Don't be looking at me, Alex. Cheeky get. I'm still in my prime, sunshine. Well, no.
I didn't think about that. That is a really good point. There's a lot of people that don't have phones.
I've actually seen people on social media saying that they've had to go and buy the dad or the granddad just a cheap mobile phone so he can get the ticket onto his phone. And also there's issues with passing on the ticket to, you know, family members or whoever, you know, if you can't go. There's been very little come out from the club about that, and it's caused a little bit of confusion. I don't like the digital version. I'll be honest. I know they're trying to get with technology and everything, but for me, there was nothing wrong with sending a season card out. I left my season card at home a couple of times at St James's last season. I just went to the box office, give them my ID, and they printed the ticket off for us. There wasn't any problem there at all. I don't see. I guess at first I was thinking, yeah, digital, you know, it's a lot more easier. But the points that you bring up and things like that, it's difficult. But again, you know, we go back to what we were talking about earlier on in the show. It's so difficult for the owners to get it right.
Mate, Chris, in China, you have to have a phone. We're not in China.
No, China's a very different place to live than it is here. We're not, listen, I'm not upsetting the Chinese again, okay? Right? I refuse to do that. We are trying to mend bridges with a lot of countries on this channel.
Oh, my God.
So China is very, very different. And, you know, if anybody doesn't know, then go and read up about the laws in China, etc. Are very, very different hours. You can't possibly compare China to the United Kingdom. You can't, you know.
The commercial department have missed the trick there, though. I think we could have got in with a Chinese mobile phone. Huawei the lads.
Huawei the lads.
Yeah, but Huawei have had the brilliant, Billy, absolutely brilliant. I see what you did there. But Huawei have had the problems over here because of various naughty stuff going on, and obviously Google pulled out of putting their app store on their phones. So there's all sorts of problems from China. Let's be honest. And to say that. Can you imagine that the Prime Minister came out and said everybody in the UK needs to have a mobile phone?
Yeah, a few people are missing the point as well. It's not that I'm not ready to move on technology-wise for the club. I am. We do need to progress in that manner, but it doesn't have to be done through Google or Apple Wallet. It's a QR code. You can obtain that in many different ways. It can just be through a standard email, the same as when you do a boarding card to board a flight. It's a commonly used system with airlines. It's a modern thing. You just get your email, you've got your card, or you can have the app and have your QR code on the app. That's fine. Like, there just needs to be a way that, you know, it's a little bit restrictive, and it's overly complicated in my opinion.
I mean, look, you're right. You know, you see people going into airports and just scanning through instead of getting the tickets and all that kind of stuff. And it does work to a degree. And hopefully, I'm not saying that it's not going to work, by the way. I'm saying that I hope it goes without a hitch, because the last thing we need is 300, 400, 500 people trying to queue up outside the box office because they haven't, the tickets won't scan on their phones and then stuck while the game's kicking off. You know, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't sit right with me, and it wouldn't sit right with a lot of fans. But it's things that they have to get right. And I understand that technology is taking over and they have to move into the present day. But for me, a season, look, people used to get, I mean, Billy, you'll remember when the season tickets used to come out, they were all just like a raffle ticket book, weren't they? You just tore off the game you were going to and took it with you.
Individual tickets, yeah.
I don't understand now why, if people didn't want it digital, give them the option. When you get your season ticket, do you want a season card, or would you rather have it sent to your phone to keep on your phone? Surely give people the option rather than saying everybody's got to do it that way, because, like we've said, some people have got to go out and buy phones for the parents, the grandparents who've never used a mobile phone in their life. And I think you're being very, very silly if you think that everybody has a mobile phone because they don't. Not everybody has one. But I mean, give them the option, Billy.
There's also another added kind of thing that you're laying people off work who would work on the turnstiles every game as well. Which is it's technology. It's technology taking the world over. It's going to happen in lots of fields of employment over the next few years.
Whoa. Can we go back to Rob's comment now?
2 seconds. Rob's comment. Where's Rob's comment? There. Okay. Don't disagree much with Alex, but on ticket pricing versus other top six, surely it's not wait until we have success. It's revenue that will achieve that success against clubs with better FFP liquidity.
Right.
Uh-oh. Get your steaks at the ready, guys. The steak emojis, let's fire them in because he's coming. Here it goes.
It's not the priority source of revenue. It's a good source of revenue, but we're looking at growing commercially, sponsorships, broadcasting revenue. That's where the money is, not increasing the match day tickets by a tenner. That's not going to make us compete with the big boys. So that is not relevant at all. And no, we shouldn't increase the prices now for an inferior product. We're not going to be able to offer the kind of stuff that Man City can offer right now. Yeah, they can offer, pretty much guarantee that they're going to get all the way through to probably the semi-finals of the Champions League quite consistently, or the quarterfinals at a minimum. We can't offer anything like that. And they, it's where we're at. And no, there's no point. That's not how that works. Overpricing tickets right now to try and catch up. That's not where the money is. The money is commercial. That's why we're hiring all these people in higher roles, specifically to grow us commercially. Because that's not where the money is.
By the way, I'm looking at the live chat now on YouTube, and the steaks that are coming in there and raw meat is incredible. You guys just responded. It is absolutely brilliant. It really is.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is a source of revenue, but it's not what we're looking at growing.
Yeah.
I like coffee says barbecue nights. We know Stato likes a Barbie, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, we do. He very much likes a Barbie. Thank you for reminding me, Billy Trey, because you might have noticed that we didn't do a show last night. I mean, we probably wouldn't have done one.
You could have done one.
Will you shut up? This has to be said. Billy, you are a genius. We were going to do a show last night, me and Billy, but then there wasn't really enough news really to do one. We've got plans for a fantasy football show, which is going to involve you guys out there. So you want to stay, when next fantasy football show that we do, please watch, because it's going to involve you guys as well. We're going to put a team together.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We're going to put a Toon Review team together on the fantasy football, put it into the Toon Review League, but it's going to be all of ours. It's all of us. So basically, we'll put a poll up saying which top 4 or 5 players do you want, as in goalkeeper, etc. And we'll go through them all, and we're going to set up a team live on the show, and we'll see how that team. You guys will run it. Basically, it's going to be brilliant. So do tune into the next one. Having said that. As I say,
we'll move on.
Alex, I have to say this. Alex wouldn't have been on the show last night because he went to see Barbie. Now, I have never asked him once what the film was like, because quite frankly, I couldn't give a rat's ass. But Alex thought he'd earn boyfriend points by taking Anya to see Barbie. So would you like to tell the good folks watching, Alex, or we just take a break from the hot debate that's going on at the minute, what the film was like?
I was a little bit disappointed. People have built it up to be a bit funnier, to be fair. It was all right.
The actor was a bit wooden.
A little bit, yeah. A bit plastic.
Yeah. Oh, dear. But
yeah, I mean, I took the lady to see it.
No, we spoke about it now. We're not talking about it anymore. Carl, yes, I understand. Ben came out and called them scum. And listen, I'm mates with Ben, right? And I was very disappointed with his comments. I think he'll be disappointed with them today, undoubtedly, because of obviously Darren Neal's coming out and putting the statement out that he did. I think Ben will regret saying that. It was a very harsh thing to say. Look, Ben reacts on emotions just like everybody else does.
Kenzie's just said I'm in, but it's because your name's Ken. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's Ken?
Hi, Ken. So yes, I think you'll feel a bit silly today putting that. But again, it's just raw emotion, guys, and some people when people's emotions come to the top and they boil over, you say things, and everybody does in every bit of daily life.
I'm getting bantered by Jack for watching Barbie. I went to pictures to watch Barbie. It was bloody brilliant.
Jack, just banter the shit out of him, mate. It's fine. Just keep going. You've got your chance now. You've been waiting for a chance to banter him for a long time. Now you've got your chance, Jack. He went to see Barbie. He dressed in pink jeans and a pink waistcoat because I saw a picture. And
how did you know what I was wearing?
He even dyed his beard pink. That's how bad it was. So please feel free, Jack, to banter the hell out of him. You have got brilliant ammunition now. And as it says, good evening, the Toon Review crew. Paul, Alex, Bill. Good evening, mods. And to you, matey. Bar 1892, 68 quid. East Stand 56 and 44 and below the rest. Parky says, look, I'm born and bred Newcastle. I'm a big lamp lad. I want to watch the team, but I can't. Will it be any better when overseas fans want to go home to home games? I'm not sure. I don't know how it's going to work. I think the overseas fans, I mean, look, they can put in the ballot, but they're going to have to get on the flight very, very quickly to get over here, aren't they? So, organising that. I know they've got it. It ends at 10 a.m. on Friday morning, and then they'll know. So they've got to arrange travel and stuff like that as quickly as they possibly can. Danielle says, good evening, Danielle. I ended up getting a refund in store for my Castore order. 4 weeks for an order is a disgrace. And the club shop had no women's training gear in. Poor show. They are an app. I'm not going to go off on one about Castore again. They boil me as much as a certain YouTube channel does. And I'm just keeping zipped because they are pathetic. We know they are. I've had no... Listen, I ordered the blue shirt, the third kit for me and Phoebe on launch day. I haven't heard a single thing from Castore about when it's going to be delivered. Not a thing. That one, Billy, you bastard. So, I've heard not a thing. Ashley 80 says it's very difficult as the demand is so high for tickets. Trying to find the price balance is so hard. New Jersey Geordie says, I mean, we just need to add 25,000 seats to the stadium already. It's going to be tough for the club to not drive up seat prices when the demand for seats far exceeds the supply. Good point. Ben says, I think the loyalty point system is absolutely shite. I have been going to away games since I was 14, so 4 years, but couldn't get the loyalty points, so had to get tickets from people. Yeah, look, again...
We've been going for 14 years, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, at one time, the away tickets were easy to get hold of. I mean, but there were many times where I've had to sit in the wrong end of the ground to watch Newcastle United play. Many times.
Look,
and celebrated too.
Yeah, look, Newcastle United have always had a fantastic away following, right? Even in the 80s when there was some bad teams in the 80s, guys, bad teams, right? And Newcastle United just took thousands away. It didn't matter how bad we were. Billy, you remember when Mirandina scored at Anfield that time? We were getting relegated that season, and you look at that away following, and it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable they actually won down there, but the away support was incredible, and it always has been for many a decade now. The following is so. What do you do? I just don't know. I mean, that's what these guys are paid the big money for, to make some of these cutthroat decisions that, whether we like it or not, they've got to go in a certain direction, and we just have to follow them and trust what they're doing.
In the past was clubs would realise that lots of Newcastle fans were coming and would allocate more of their home end for Newcastle fans when the home fans weren't going to their ground. So you get more tickets that way. Not going to happen for us.
Faramir says, Paul, is there any truth in AC Milan first team manager Andrea Romeo set to join Newcastle United? Yes. I didn't mean to, that popped up. I didn't mean to put that in the Daily News, actually. There is a few reports today of that happening. Nothing confirmed by Newcastle United yet, so we'll wait and see on that one. But that is a hell of a coup if we get him, by the way, to join Eddie's staff. And, of course, the fact that he's coming from AC Milan will, Tonali will obviously have given Eddie some little pointers about what he's like. James says, hopefully every other club during the summer series had merchandise, including Villa, who is also Castore. Good riddance. I mean, I'm baffled by this, guys. I didn't actually know that Castore didn't do anything over in America. I think they've missed a trick.
I'd heard somewhere the Premier League the Premier League themselves were just promoting Premier League stuff, and as such Newcastle couldn't take stuff. But seeing that comment, clearly not.
It's bizarre. I mean, normally when you go to these things, there's always the merch stores that who make the shirts. I find that astounding. But then again, do I find it astounding? It's Castore. Anything can happen with them these days.
And if Villa did take Castore did take stuff for Aston Villa, that's a good sign because it means that they're not really promoting this anymore, which means they could be out the door at the end of the season.
Yeah. Right. I'm taking this point up myself. Chris, Paul, I don't agree. If a cinema kept showing rubbish movies, you would stop going. Going to watch your team when they are rubbish just makes you a bit silly, in my opinion, not more deserving. Chris, what an absolute pathetic thing to say. Are you actually a Newcastle fan? Because if you are, or a true Newcastle United fan, you wouldn't come out with a comment like that, pal. That is ridiculous, right? The passion that Newcastle United fans have for many, 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 many moons, right? Whether we were crap or we weren't, we've just been talking about the amazing following that they still had. I mean, I can't believe you've come out and said that. Just because we play rubbish, it makes you a bit silly for going. So you're calling all these fans that followed the Toon in the 80s and very early 90s when we nearly got relegated when Keegan came in, right? We were awful, right? So those fans were silly. Those thousands that went to Leicester City that day to survive are silly. Give your head a shake, man. Come on. That, you support a supporter. You support the club, win, lose, draw. Right?
Yeah,
you are not silly. For God's sake, somebody give me some pig and raw meat. That's absolutely pathetic. Unbelievable.
This is why.
Am I wrong or am I right?
No. We've had two stints of Championship football in the past 15 years, and we've filled out the ground more often than not.
So them fans are silly.
Low season. Yeah, mental.
Yeah.
But this is why it's going to mean so much more to most of us. I've got so many friends and acquaintances that support Liverpool, Man United, Half of them don't watch games. Like when Man United played Barcelona last season, I've got a bunch of friends that are Man United fans. They didn't even watch it. They didn't even watch it. If we played Barcelona, we would all I guarantee 99% of us would all be like, oh my God, what a game. I would love to watch it. I would be privileged. That'd be such a good fixture. Most of these people just don't care. They've been there, done that. They don't celebrate trophies. They don't even care. They call them tin pot trophies, half of the trophies. When we lost that Carabao Cup final, I stayed in that stadium about 25 minutes longer than I should have done, taking it all in because it hurts and it means so much more when you actually win something.
I'm sorry, that comment pissed me off. I find that astounding. So he's saying that even not just Newcastle fans that go and watch their team, even though they're not doing very well, makes you a bit silly. Well, your opinion this time is bollocks, right? Anyway, Mark Mullins, thank you for your £20 super chat. Good evening, all. Just a thought for the club, raising money to help towards the club and giving back to the fans. Why don't they look at things like, instead of Glastonbury, let's do a Toonabury with Jimmy Nails, Sting, and Ant and Deck? Are people smoking crack tonight?
It's not a bad idea, to be fair.
I mean, go for it. Get it arranged, Mark. You get that arranged. By the way, Susan has been at work during the show after she found out that Alex has been to see Barbie.
Right, let's get it over with.
Oh God, it's come down as a wrong file. I'll need to.
Oh, what a shame.
I'll need to just chat among yourselves, guys, because I need to just change this a little over.
I'm looking forward to this. How are you?
Is it just me in pink trousers or something?
No, it's better than that, my man. I could actually see you wearing this in the summer years, mate. In the summer months.
Susan, it's only fair if you do the full Toon review entourage dressed the same way.
Why should me and Billy get banded with the same pathetic film that you go and watch?
It's already been arranged. You might as well do it, Susan. It'll be funny.
No. We have nothing to do with Barbie. We've never been to see Barbie. You have. And this is how Alex dressed to go and see Barbie last night.
I mean, I'll take that. I thought you were going to put me in a pink dress and dye my beard pink, to be fair.
Looks a bit Roger Federer to me.
I'm not thinking Roger Federer. I'm thinking of, what's his name?
I look like I've won Wimbledon a few times, to be fair.
No, what's him that was in X Factor and cried? What, Rylan Clark. Rylan. I mean, there you go. But
Olivier Giroud, in other words, because he looks like him a bit, doesn't he?
Olivier Giroud. Oh my God! Honest to God, that is brilliant. Yeah. So, oh God. Sophia the Looney Toon.
Sorry, somebody just said Ruben Neves. I mean,
oh wow. Yeah. Sophia's changed from Olsen to the Looney Tune. So welcome. What just flashed up on the screen there?
Probably my
Did anyone see that? Oh, you got the funny vape juice again, Billy, that sort of turns into a rainbow. Geordie 2 for Life says NUFC should have had 2 turnstiles as a trial for the Cellar tournament, and if successful, then open them all on the Sunday.
That's a great idea, actually.
Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably more than 2. Just have a section that is. But look, I don't see why people couldn't have had the choice for a digital ticket or a plastic ticket. You know, and they are trying to do this environmental stuff as well. But you know, come on. Jim says there are still people who don't carry a mobile phone. Jan says I don't even have an iPhone. Well, iPhones aren't the be all and end all. You know, there is other manufacturers. I've just ordered a Samsung Flip 5, which is coming on Friday. I'm very much looking forward to getting that. I do have an iPhone at the moment, but I'm going back to Samsung because I like them. And I like having a flip phone because it fits in my pocket and I don't have to put a brick in my pocket when I get the footy. Logan says it's so easy to do and such an inconvenience. You don't have to put your debit cards on there. Well, no, but some people don't even have the option.
Hang on, bring that picture back up.
What picture?
As in the comment, because it will show the profile picture.
Okay.
So, Logan, you definitely look like you were young enough where when you got the phone, it was being released and it was a new feature. I've been an adult for a long period of time where that didn't exist, and I was quite happy with my original cards. And I can imagine there were a lot of people older than me that also feel the same way. You know, give people an alternative. I'm not saying it's wrong. Use it, but give people an alternative as well, potentially.
Yeah,
you know, and the whole point, and there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's security. It's to make it easier if it's on the wallet and to make it confirmed." Why are we then IDing people? I said this earlier. I'll say it again. If we're going to that much of a length to confirm it's in a wallet, so it's definitely that person and it's not shared, you don't need to ID people in the ground, which has been suggested, and a lot of people are quite frustrated about that. I don't particularly want to be ID'd at the ground. I think it's a bit rude. If you're there with your family, you don't want a random steward wandering up to just one person and asking for ID. It's just a bit weird. I don't know. It seems a bit dodgy.
Yeah. Just had a £10 super chat from Spike Milligan. Spike, thank you very much, buddy, for your continued support. I've had paper tickets that failed to scan. Yeah, I did. The Cambridge FA Cup game. You know, that fateful day. That
was your fault then, Paul, because you didn't scan properly.
Well, no, it took the whole family and they all got through and my ticket wouldn't scan, so they had to send me back to the box office. And, you know, Susan and the kids didn't know where the hell they were going. So, you know, they were panicked and eventually the steward let them out to wait by the turnstile again until I came back. But it took me ages to get down there and back to get my ticket sorted. It's you can just see the anger in a lot of people if they don't. David says those turnstiles always play up. Usually when I walk through, happened twice just last season out of 4 games attended. What is wrong with a paper ticket or email? Like Alex said, all seems daft. By the way, as well, just, you know, it's very difficult for, you know, the taller or more wider man to get through these bloody turnstiles these days. Honestly,
I mean, to be fair, I struggle, so I don't know how you get on.
Yeah,
through the gates, mate. They get through the gates. The walk of shame. It's all good.
Because I remember Michael Marsden always complained about them, saying he just couldn't get through, and it was, you know, he'd give himself a hernia trying to push his way through the bloody gates. It's absolutely mental. Right, just before we finish up, Alex is going to make just touch on 2 players that we're potentially interested in. We are going to do a transfer show tomorrow night, so we will go ahead and do that. We'll touch on it in more detail, but just in case anything sort of further breaks tomorrow before we do the transfer show. So take it away, Alex.
So a couple of lads, I think a couple of people have actually mentioned it in the chat. So Ben Jacobs specifically has come out and mentioned Omar Soleil, who plays for Salzburg. Very, very big centre half. There's not really a lot of data on him, but cracking player. There's Champions League and Europa League minutes for him. You can probably go back and actually watch fixtures in which he played because it is Champions League and Europa League. So right-sided centre half. He's like a 23-year-old. So we'll have a look at him. Additionally, it's been floating around obviously because we've got Alex Murphy. There's more Irishness. I don't know how to say this. Cathal, Heffernan.
Probably in Ireland, probably cattle.
Yes. He's from Cork. So he's actually on Milan's books.
Yeah,
he's on Milan. It's been going between the Cork under 18s and the Milan under 18s, and he's coming to us. He's 18 years old. There's not really any data on him, so I'm going to have to do some digging. And apparently, we're also in talks for Kevin Zeffy. So they were
another Irish lad, isn't he? Another Irish lad.
Another Irish lad.
There's a few sort of Irish, specifically Irish transfer news has been talking about this.
It just seems like we're doing everything possible this summer to piss AC Milan off. You know, taking the kids away, taking the first team coach.
One of your Jules, one of your coaches, and we'll take one of your youngsters as well.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take the kit man while we're at it as well?
Indeed. Why not?
Or kit
Paul
person.
Feeney says he's a Barbie boy. He's a Barbie boy.
I like how Tom's giving us an Irish lesson in the chat now.
Well, there's a surprise. Marco says, I've never had a season ticket, but NUFC is in my blood. Chris ain't got a clue about club loyalty. Thank you very much. Well said, Marco. You know, if it's in your blood, it's in your blood. Whether you're shit or great, you still go. Look at Man City fans. There's a lot of plastic ones now for many different reasons. But you look back to when they were in League One, they were filling out Main Road all the time. 30-odd thousand in League One. So,
I mean, look at Sunderland. We hate them. They've gone down 2 divisions, and there's still a lot of them love their club. I mean, we don't like them, but they've been absolutely bantered for years, and they just fell through the division.
Yesterday. Did you see the result yesterday?
They
Alex?
did. Yeah, they lost. Yeah, but
5-2 was it the Hartlepool?
Yeah.
Oof.
They're trying to make out with a second string team when the
was it bollocks? They had some first team players playing. There's no doubt about it. Don't pull a fast one with that. Crazy.
But same can be said about any team. Like Wigan won the FA Cup. Are you going to call any current Wigan supporters stupid because they supported them when they won the FA Cup, but then they still support them now, even though they're not challenging for things like that anymore and they're not in the Premier League? Like, you support who you support. It's just what do you want us to do? Change teams and be plastic fans? Like, no.
I mean, it was a ridiculous thing to say. Everyone's got an opinion, but that opinion stunk the place out.
Man City in the third tier, we're getting 32,000 every week at Main Road, filling out the stadium.
But it just dismisses pretty much anybody who's a supporter of a club that's not in the top league anywhere. Like,
Neil's got a good point as well. Will the lack of phone signal in and around the stadium, I better say, impact the digital tickets?
Do you have to have like 5G, 4G for you to actually connect to your wallet? Is that a thing? Or
I don't know. If the app's on your phone, I don't know how that'll work. But look, that is something that needs
Wi-Fi or 4G or 5G for it to work, won't you?
I would have thought so.
And it's James's part. I don't think that's going to happen somehow.
Yeah. Jason says, I suffered through the days of Boom Song, so I've earned my stripes. There you go. I don't believe for 1 minute that he was a proper Newcastle United fan. I cannot. My auntie bought me a ticket and forwarded the email to me, so hopefully I have no problems. I don't know. I don't know because I haven't actually downloaded mine yet. I've got the email for my season ticket and the Seller Cup, but I haven't downloaded them to my wallet yet because obviously I'm changing phones. So I'm going to wait till Friday to do that and put them in my Google wallet or Samsung wallet, whichever one I go with. Probably Google wallet.
You don't need Wi-Fi.
And then go from there. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I do have a slight change of subject, by the way. Just something I want to ask, and it is for Paul as well. Well, I'm Billy, technically, if we can get you into a better game. Football Manager. So obviously we've set up Toon Review Gaming, but we're not quite there yet. We're still getting things sorted. I've still only got FM 22, so Football Manager 22. I don't have the 23 version, which is the newest one. So I'm finishing my save off with Rupel Boom, which is a Belgian club in the fourth tier of Belgian football. So once I finish them, I will get the new one. So if anybody's got any interesting saves they want to pitch, and I've already done Gateshead, Blythe Spartans. I've already done Newcastle. I've done all of those. I've been there, done that. So any interesting saves?
Yes, I know, Alex.
Potentially...
But people will want you to do a Newcastle one, though.
Oh yeah, when we do it on the gaming channel, yeah. But this is just for me to practice.
All right,
I want to try and get a little bit better. And then additionally, so interesting save for me, and an interesting save for Paul to do. And if we can get Billy into Football Manager, although he's a little bit more FIFA orientated, but
Yep.
Interesting save.
Hopefully get that going soon. There is work going on in the background to get everything up and running for that. By the way, it doesn't look like you need a lot of comments coming in, helping out everybody, putting minds at rest. You download it, and once it's downloaded to your wallet on your phone, you don't need a mobile or Wi-Fi connection because it's already downloaded. So you just go into the app and it's there, which is fair enough. Mark Mullins, thank you for another £2 super chat. He says, can we watch the Seller Cup on TV? I don't know yet. I think it's going to be on NUFC TV, I would imagine. And of course, we hope it is, because we want to bring you the commentary with Billy Bob, because me and Alex will be there. So looking forward to it. But that is the end of the show tonight. So it's been a very, very hot topic. I've really enjoyed it, actually. We've had some very, very good opinions in the chat. Some not so, but it is what it is on this show. You've got a lot of people whose opinions you don't agree with, some who you just cannot agree with. But yeah, it's great to get everybody's feedback on it and see what they think of it all. I think hopefully it will go without a hitch. But there's always that risk of having a massive queue outside of the box office, which is madness. But thank you very much, everybody that's watched. Over 1,000 again tonight. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you to all the super chatters, members, etc., and of course to our fantastic mod squad who show in, show out, show up, and do a brilliant job keeping everybody disciplined in the chat. Thank you to Billy and Alex, but of course, thank you to everyone out there. We really appreciate you watching tonight. And of course, don't forget, 7 p.m. tomorrow night, it will be a transfer show where we look at those players in a little bit more detail, and news may break tomorrow of any, if those deals have progressed any more. But we will have a look at them in more detail. So we'll see you at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Don't forget to keep an eye out for the daily news as well. And of course, head over to Patreon if you are interested in getting some more brilliant stuff from the Toon Review. The link is in the description. If you like your podcasts away from the camera, that's the place to go. But thank you to everybody for watching tonight, and we will see you at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Good night and take care, everybody.
How were the lads and lasses?
Come back and check on some green.